So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to invite the elders up. I know Rob's in here. I know Randy's working. He's with kids, I think. And he's coming. And I know Bob could unfortunately not be here today. So I'm going to ask the elders to sit with me here. We want to share some news with you. So we just want you to sit back. We just kind of want to talk with you a little bit. I'm going to let the elders stand here next to me. I'm going to sit down too. I'm going to get you a chair, Randy. Yeah. I'm not getting a chair for you, Randy. I'm going to stand. You sit. So we actually have some really exciting news. So here's what's going on. It's clear in our text today and from all the other scriptures, and it's clear from these guys that we talk a lot about the things that we do at this church. And it's very clear to us through Scripture, through the teaching that we get, the teaching that we give, that's very important to us that we all become active participants in the ministry of the kingdom. Today's text is so poignant in the fact that God calls us, He puts people in our hearts, people in our lives for us to communicate gospel with. And we ask you guys to participate that in a number of ways. We ask you to do that corporately on Sunday mornings, to be a part of the nursery and Sunday school, and just the little things like passing out communion and offering trays and things like that. We ask you to participate in the plan and the work of the church. We ask you to do that individually, as I've just laid out. We ask you to go home and be with your friends and be with your family and be with your coworkers and communicate ministry and message of Jesus. We ask you to be involved and participate in that. We know that God has big plans for every single individual in this room, and we also know that He has big plans for this church. Here's the amazing news. So here's what's interesting. So this year, we've had a really big year. It's been a very exciting. So we've been planning for this year, though, for 2 years, really. We knew that there were several areas in our church and our ministry that we could do better. One of those, and the foremost of those, is our Kids Cove area, our children's ministry, up into our youth, but specifically our children's ministry. We knew we were dropping the ball on that. We knew we could do better with that. So starting even more than 2 years ago, we realized that some of the things that we needed to do was, first off, we needed to invest in the security of that area. And so, yeah, you guys, you come in, you check your kids in on your iPads, and most of you are okay with that, but some of you still are like, why do we do this? Because our kids are so important to us, we would never let anything happen to them, that's why. And so we invested in simple things like that. We've invested in security around this building, security cameras, specifically in all the Kids Cove areas. Our kids are so important to us, we always want to be able to protect them. And more than that, we want to be able to protect our volunteers whenever they're in one of those rooms with one of our kids. And so starting years ago, we began to plan and save for just big things like that. And we've been doing that, planning on a year like this, knowing that we would have more and more kids someday down the road that we would have to be able to protect. We knew that even outside of just the physical stuff like security and check-in stuff and the technology involved in that we knew that we had to do a better job with programming. We knew that we had to do better with just our ministry with our kids. And we knew the way that we needed to do that was to invest in somebody. With Sean making a transition to worship and discipleship, which we needed somebody that could step in and truly invest in our ministry to children, and so Nathaniel steps in. And Nathaniel has done an exceptional job. He's come in and he has just got right in a good way, right in the face of Sean and I and be like, what were you guys doing? Like in a great way, we're like, we don't know. That's why we hired you. We knew that we could do better. We knew it. And we have hired somebody that actually knows what better is. And even in the short time he's here, he's got right after our 5th and 6th grade ministry because, man, we were killing it there in a very bad way. We were dropping the ball so bad in 5th and 6th grade ministry that, man, look around. You can see the results of that. We knew we had to do better, and he's got right after that. We knew we needed to do better with just all the way up into youth and junior high and high school. We've seen more kids here on Sunday mornings we have in a long time. Just that investment in both technology in the back and safety and security, that investment in a young man named Nathaniel and his wife, Kendall, it's been a blessing. And so with all of those investments made starting years and years and years ago, it gets us to a year now where we had hoped our goal for this year was that we would be somewhere between 160 and 165 average attendance by the beginning of summer, so somewhere around that 1st of June. That was always our goal for this year. As of the 1st of June, our average Sunday attendance was 165 people. We would come in on Monday mornings and we would ask, hey, what was our attendance? And if it was 150, John and I would go, geez, low week. When I got here, and this isn't because of me, this is because of you. But when we had 150 people here, we were going, woo! And now that's low. That's bad week. And so our goal for the end of the year is that we'll have somewhere between 165 and 170 average attendance. That's our goal, and that is so attainable. When everybody's here on one Sunday, we have just shy of 200 people. And that's just the regular people. That's not the visitors and the guests and the new families that we have all of the time. That's just people who we rotate weeks, people. When we have everybody here, we have just shy of 200. We have been planning on this year for years. And it is so amazing that we are seeing the fruit. So with the fruit, we have invested in so many things, and here's the deal. There are growing pains. There are growing pains. With more people, with more families, with more need of curriculum, with more need of programming, with more need of events, with more need of all these things, it takes much more financial provision. And I will say right now, we are making it. But I will say right now, we are not in a position where we can push. We are not in a position where we are able to continue planning for the future. See, 2 and 3 years ago when we started planning for this year, we were in a position where we were setting money aside and we were accomplishing things we knew we would need to have done for this year. And now that we are here, we are not in a position financially where we can continue to plan for 3 years from now. Here's where we're at, straight up. So when we make a budget, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And this is 2 bankers telling you that, okay? So Rob and I sit down in August and we begin to plan for the next year. And what we do is we look at our attendance and we look at our giving and we say, okay, this is how many people it is and this is how much money comes in. And so when we plan for the next year, we plan for more people. And we raise this with it. And so as we plan for more people, it goes like this. We have an algorithm essentially that we've been using for years that have been fairly accurate up to this point, allowing us to guess how many people we think will be here and how much money we think will come in. And we create a budget that allows us to do the ministries we do. This year, something very interesting is happening. We are seeing this. Lots and lots of people. And giving is not going up with it. In fact, as of right now, straight up, we look at the giving week to year right now that we are in, and we look at the week to year last year, and we are underneath that. This church family gave itself better last year than this year, and we have more people. Not by a tremendous amount, but we were planning on more. And so we've cut, we've reduced, we've cut everything we can cut and still maintain the ministry levels that we have been able to have. But our giving is beneath where we had hoped it would be. It's under where we really needed it to be, and we expected it to be a lot higher. Here's the reality. So when we set a budget, we put all of our needs, we put all of our wants, we put all of our dreams, we put all of our unexpected things in that budget. And so we know that at the end of the year, we don't usually hit that budget because we set it high. We do. But we know a lot of that saving and planning and vision for things that we hope to get to do soon. Like we knew we needed to create more office space for this third guy. We started saving for that 3 years ago. We saved, we paid for it, it's done. We're unable to do things like that right now. Here's where we are. With our budget set for the end of the year, we're right at $30,000 short of that budgeted goal. Now that sounds scary, but like I said, there's plans in there, there's savings in there, all that kind of stuff. Right now, we're making it. And it's tight. And we don't want to be just making it. We want to be pushing as we have always been pushing. We want to be driving as we have always been driving. We never want for one moment to say, sorry, we can't do that ministry because it's just a little tight right now. There was a first for me last week. So last week, we had all the flooding. And we knew we would have guests here. We knew we'd have visitors. And we had a bunch of our own people that were stuck here because we couldn't get through town. Welcome to Seneca. And so we scratched together, Elder Rob here, or Bob as I sometimes call him. So Elder Rob here, he was in the kitchen before Sunday school was even going. He was pulling stuff out of our reserves and all kinds of stuff. We had a meal of spaghetti going before Sunday school was even over because we were ready to help people. Well, that was really all we had to cook, and so we thought we'd probably have to cook dinner for families too, and we were prepared to feed firemen or whatever we needed to do. And so we started writing a grocery list. And I was writing that grocery list, and I go, oh my gosh, it's tight. I have never had to do that. Not in about 5 years anyway. I have never said one time, I don't know if we can help people. And guys, we're not upset. We know this is tough. We know it's hard. But we know that there's no reason we should have less now than we did last year with more people. And so here's where we're at. We are asking you to partner with us, and we're launching a campaign. It's going to start next Sunday, the 7th. It's called 24/7. You're going to see stuff about it all over the place. You're going to get some mailers about it. You get some more information in writing so you can kind of read over what we're going to do. But here's what we're inviting you to be a part of. The 24/7 campaign. We're asking a crazy $24,000 in 7 weeks. Now, you say that's crazy, but I know you can do it because you've done it in the past with a van. We're asking for $24,000 in 7 weeks, and here's what we want to do with that money. We are in a facility that's 12 years old, and then we need to keep up with it. It needs a little extra tender, loving care now than it used to. There's a few things we need to fix and update. There's some things we need to dress up and pretty up, and there are some things we need to work on with this building, and we don't have any extra right now that we're setting aside to be prepared for those things. And so some of the things we want to do with that money is we want to invest in this facility. Because we know that when people come in this door, we want to be ready for them. We want it to look awesome. We want people to feel right at home when they come in this place. We want it to be comfortable all the time. We want it to be a safe, secure, warm, welcoming place. So we want to clean it up. We want to put some paint on the walls in the lobby, sanctuary, hallway. We want to begin saving for a long-term plan of replacing all the lights, transitioning to LED lights, because we're using fluorescent lights and we're replacing ballasts, we're replacing bulbs all the time. They're not as efficient, and a ballast costs like $35, and we can replace the whole unit to LEDs and never have to change them again. These lights were transitioned to LED 5 years ago. Shortly after I first got here, we did that. We have not changed one bulb yet. We want to make every room in this building as efficient as this one. It's part of our long-term plan to be money savers. We want to invest in things like that. We want to invest in paint. We want this place to look clean and nice. We've had to fix drywall because we have a building full of kids. And so we've had to fix drywall. We need to touch up paint. We need to do all that kind of stuff. We need to make this place look amazing so that when somebody comes in the door, they go, holy cow, this family cares so much about me, they've dressed their place up for me. We've got vision for the lobby that we want to add some technology to it if we have the money to do it. We want to make sure that it is a place where people come in, they can register events, they can give there if they want. We can help them with their calendar syncing with ours so that they know everything that's going on. We want to have active kiosks so that people can be right in with the life of this church. This culture's technological, people. Everybody's on a phone or an iPad or a computer. We want to be able to connect with people in the ways that they're connected to everything else on the planet. We want to have a lobby that's welcoming. We have vision for that down the road that we want to begin to save for. Guys, we want to take this money and we want to set it aside for when the bad things happen. If an air conditioner went up in smoke this week, it wouldn't be 72 degrees in here next Sunday. We just haven't been able to set the money aside for that. And we just want to be prepared for those things. We never want to worry you. We never want to freak you out. We want to be able to come to you and say, hey, we took care of it. And we have for years. And we want to do those things. And church, above and beyond anything else we want to do is that we want to give from this money. We will be giving 10%, a tithe of this money. We will be dividing it upon all of our missionaries, and our goal is to be able to give them an extra month of giving with this money alone, specifically tithe. It'll be a great offering for all of them, something extra that they're not expecting. We want to give from it. Church, we want you to partner with us in this. And here's the reality of the truth. While I have been a little stressed out around here because I'm a banker, and while I know Rob has been a little stressed out around here because he's just like me in that regard, we have never, I speak for Randy, been more proud of this church family and the work that you guys have done. Guys, you got to understand, I know you've had somebody come up on this stage before and say, hey, we got 2 weeks left. That is not today. I know that people have begged and pleaded and knocked and asked you for money because we were in a bad spot. That's not this. We are in such a good spot. We just need to remind you that it takes money. And we are doing amazing things, and we've seen amazing growth in people, and we want to never let off the gas for that. We know that God is going to provide. I have faith. It took me a minute. I wrestled. But I have absolutely 100% faith that God is going to be good to this church family. And I know just like God used Philip, he's going to use the people of this church family. I'm excited to see how that works. And guys, I will say this. While it has been a very large temptation for me, we have made cuts across the board. Across the board. Few lines in the budget left unaffected. We give $2,200 a month. That's a lie. $2,400 a month in missions. If we had stopped giving that, I wouldn't have to talk to you today. But I'm talking to you today because we will lead by example, that this church will continue to give, and we will continue to lead in that regard. And we ask you to give as much as we give. We give hard, and we're asking you to give hard. And so here's what we're asking specifically. We want you first to pray. If you are somebody that gives in this church, we're asking you to pray about that. God may look right at you and say, hey, you're good. I doubt it, but he might. We are asking you to pray about what you are giving right now. We're asking you from a physical standpoint, have you changed what you're giving? Are you pushing your faith? Giving is practical, tangible faith. If you're somebody in this room that maybe you find yourself new to this church, we're asking you to partner with us in this amazing ministry. We're asking you to begin a relationship with this church through the act, the offering that we give. And as Sean said today, it is faith and it is practicing sacrifice, understanding what Jesus did. So we're asking you to begin that ministry. And now we're asking you to pray and consider how you can give above and beyond that for this specific campaign of 24/7. That's what we're asking today. We're asking you to consider how you are giving on a weekly, regular basis. And to make that as much as you can, because Jesus says to give it all. And I tell you what, it's hard. I know. Shelby and I, we started giving when we were first married. And I am so thankful of that. Because if we hadn't started giving our full tithe then, it would be so hard for us to start that now. And so we have faithfully given our entire marriage. And if we had not started then, I know how hard it would be to start now. We're asking you to consider that. And church, more than anything, we need you to give to this 24/7 campaign. But we need you to be faithful, regular givers every single week with this on top. We're asking for you to join in this wonderful ministry of this wonderful church family. And I can't emphasize enough that we are in such an amazing place. We are asking you to be a part of it with us. Things are good. Help us make them better. I'm so thankful for the church family I have and the work that you've done. I'm thankful for the elders that I have, Bob included. But I am so thankful that these guys, and here's the funny thing, guys, I want you to know this. This giving campaign was started in the end of January, brought up in February. We had no idea where we'd be financially now. Last week technically, but this week has been planned for months before we knew that we would be here. We know God's got this. We know God's got this planned out for us. We're just asking you to help us be part of it.